Hi, welcome to SBR Sports Picks. I'm Peter Loshak. Next is Mike Brenner. Today is Wednesday, July 6th, and it's starting to get a little bit real. NFL is coming up. It's only a couple months away, and the topic of today's video, NFC futures odds. We're ready to start analyzing it, right, Mike Brenner?
Kickoff's not far away, Pistol Pete, and absolutely, there's some good spots that I see on some of these futures.
All right, before we get into it, what do we want? What do we want to promo? What do we want to plug? Sportsbookreview.com?
Well, you know, OCD picks.
OCD picks. That's right. We have WNBA picks on there.
Yes,
do we? CFL
Canadian
picks.
football. Yep.
And sportsbookreview.com, of course, is the main website that you want to go to find out which books to play at, which books to avoid. All right, Mike Brenner.
That's right.
NFC futures odds. Let's jump right into it. This is a little bit more wide open than the AFC, right? There's a lot of legit contenders here. A lot of talented teams.
Yeah.
Feels like the NFC is more talented than the AFC this year, at least as of right now. We got the Seahawks as a very slight favorite. They're about 5-1, 4.5-1 market wide. Then Carolina right behind them. They're about 5-1 or 4.5-1 market wide.
Yep.
And the Packers right behind them. They're about 5-1. No real 4.5s are around. Then you got Arizona at 6-1, Minnesota at 9 or 10-1. Dallas, most debated team by far in the NFC. Some people saying this is going to be a big year for Dallas. Other people saying that drafting Ezekiel Elliott was a disaster and that these guys are going to be mediocre at best.
I agree.
Then you got the Giants at 16-1, a bunch of long shots down the line. Mike Brenner, what are your first thoughts? Let's start with the favorite, the Seattle Seahawks. Should they be the favorite?
I think so. I don't see why not. I think Pete Carroll does a good job year in and year out. He's
or rather,
actually,
like, the better question is Seattle, Carolina, or Green Bay. Who should be the favorite out of those three?
Well, I think for me, it becomes Seattle and the Packers. I think the Panthers, I think they're going to have a hangover from last year. I see that team kind of decreasing. And Arizona, not because of the coach, but you got Carson Palmer and Larry Fitzgerald, another year older. Pete, I see them decreasing. But I see Seattle and the Packers, I think, without a doubt, are the two favorites.
Okay, now the issue with the Packers, of course, is it just all about, are you basically making a bet on the health of Aaron Rodgers and maybe
and Jordy Nelson and so forth
and Lacey? I mean, is that like, if Rodgers is healthy, is there any way they don't win the NFC the whole year long? If you knew right now for a fact that Rodgers is going to be healthy,
of course not. I don't think I don't think that they would win the NFC without him. But I'm going blind in here, like all these guys are going to stay healthy and kind of let it bounce from there.
I mean, that's the assumption you have to make.
But I still think the Packers are going to be better than Arizona. Maybe not the Panthers, but Arizona, I think they will be. I think they'll be a step ahead.
All right. Then a lot of people debating the second, very, very close behind Dallas in terms of controversial teams is Minnesota Vikings, right? Some people say that they are on their way up, and the issue is Teddy Bridgewater. Is he enough? Does he have enough to get it done at quarterback, what they need to get done? They're sort of like one of these teams that has a serviceable quarterback, strong running game, and strong defense. We've seen, the Denver Broncos had that kind of makeup, although, they had a much better defense. They had an elite, historically awesome defense last year.
Yeah.
Minnesota Vikings at plus 950, 9-1, 10-1. What do you think?
I don't know. I think I don't think that team progresses this year. I think Teddy Bridgewater showed me in the playoffs that when the weight needs to be put on his shoulders, I don't think he can handle it.
Okay.
And when Blair Walsh missed that field goal against Seattle, I think it deflated that team. But love the coach, love the direction. They got a great defense, a very underrated defense. But I don't think with Adrian Peterson, older Pistol Pete, and Bridgewater, I don't think he can handle the load. I'm staying away from this team.
All right, and then Dallas Cowboys, let's jump right into it. Let's hear what your take on it is. Right now, they're about 10-1, 12-1, market wide. Tony Romo presumably will be healthy the whole year. He's certainly going to be able to
I don't see. That's the statement that scares me. Presumably healthy.
Presumably, right.
And he said he feels better than he's felt in his whole career. But bottom line, when you're rehabbing like that and you're getting older, it takes a wear and tear on your body. I think this team is just going to be a mess. I see them at another 8-8, which is what they've done 4 out of the last 5 years. I see Dallas at an 8-8. I think Romo gets older. Like you said, they drafted a nightmare. This guy's already stirring up stuff, outside of the football field. So with that being said, as long as Jerry Jones owns that team and doesn't have Jimmy Johnson coaching, he'll never win another Super Bowl.
All right. So you
That's
think
my
that
opinion.
you think that Dallas at 10-1, 12-1 is overvalued?
Absolutely. Huge
All right.
overvalue.
Are there any of the big long shots that you think might have possible maybe a slight value with their big long shot odds? We got the LA Rams at 30-1, the Eagles at about 31-1, Detroit, the Bears, the Saints all at about 30 to 35-1. Then you got the Bucks at 40-1, and then the Niners at 45-1.
If I had to pick out of all of them, I would say the Rams because of Gurley and and this is the year Jeff Fisher pressure's pressure's on. They move back to Los Angeles. It's you win this year or you're gone, and he knows that. So I think out of them all, if Gurley stays healthy, I think that team. But the rest, I think, is just really in for a mess and a bunch of rebuilding. The Eagles, I think, are overvalued. The Lions, they lost some key elements. So
yeah, I mean, some of these teams might be a little bit better than advertised, but I don't think there's any way that they compete with the stacked top 5 or 6 of the conference.
But there's one I got to ask you about. What about the Washington Redskins? I don't see a lot of respect. Their team total, Pistol Pete, 7.5. I think that's a no-brainer. They're going to win more than that.
Futures are 20-1. I just see them as mediocre again. Yeah, I wouldn't. It's certainly possible they could have line value at times. It might even be one of the better bets in the NFC in terms of.
They're one of the better home team bets. Also, cover at home. So.
But at 20-1, do they really have what it takes to get the Seahawks? I mean, there's so many elite teams in the NFC. Of course. Maybe in the end, it just comes down to who gets lucky with health, and whoever is the healthiest is the one who's going to come out on top. Now, Arizona, is it all about, if Carson Palmer goes down, are they done?
I think they're done. They're done. And I don't know that they. I think they think he has another year or two left with staying healthy, but that guy just takes one lick and it's over. And Fitzgerald's a step slower, so I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, they added some nice pieces. They added Mathis, Chandler Jones. They added
Chandler Jones is a big pickup.
Kimdiche in the draft. That's a huge, top 10 talent right there.
He'll take some time. I agree, and I like Bruce Arians. He'll keep that thing clicking. But this year, if Palmer goes down this year, though, I think they're going to regress and then build up again. So.
All right. Well, which bet do we think might have the best value in terms of NFC futures odds? I think, in my opinion, because of the Carson Palmer issue, you have to throw out the Cards at 6-1. Although I love Bruce Arians.
Yeah, me too.
And then out of the Seahawks, the Panthers, and the Packers, geez, I don't really know. I guess.
Pete, I don't know. I just think the Panthers are going to be overrated this year. I think they're going to be overvalued. I'm looking to fade them a bit in the beginning till the lines catch on. But I think out of the two, I'd have to say Seattle. I really do. It's a machine. He's the Belichick type of coach. He pumps people up. I mean, when you got guys like Steve Kerr going to visit him and hey, teach me how to coach basketball. Come on, the guy does something right. I love Pete Carroll. Seattle's my pick.
The two tackle, here's the big knock on Seattle, whether you agree with it or not. The tackle spots are major weak points. Question is, will Russell Wilson get protection? You think basically he'll get enough?
I think he will. I think they'll plug that hole just fine.
And all right, so your best value play would be the very, very slight favorite Seattle Seahawks. Currently, I'm seeing it about plus 465.
Yes, I like it.
All right, Mike Brenner, I'm excited for NFL. We will see how these lines move by kickoff.
Let's kick it off, baby.
Always on the go? Bet365 has one of the top mobile platforms in today's market. Sign up today and don't let your busy life keep you out of the game.